Alright, James, you and I just gotta go through this little town and recover the diplomat, William H. Crawford. Yeah, let's get this done quickly. Roscoff is the newest map added to Guts and Blackpowder. It is by far the best map in G&B. Yet for those who want to get the 2 new badges on this map, well, you're in for a wild ride, or at least I sure was. I talked about Roscoff a good bit in these 2 videos, so for those who haven't seen them, I'm going to briefly sum up how this map lays out. If you want to get straight to the psychological torture of me getting these 2 badges, then just skip to whatever time is on screen, okay? Good. Let's get into it. You start off on a dock and make your way into the city of Roscoff, located in the Brittany region of France. You go into this little forge where you break down this door via pushing this anchor 3 times. You find Jean, who is now a zombie. I'm not going to repeat my whole speech from my last video, as that's boring and it seems like more and more players are accepting his death. One thing I will say is that he got the closest thing to a good ending in a game like Guts and Blackpowder, as he survived Paris and became a captain. You also finally let him rest in pieces, as the next objective is for you to kill him and collect a note from him, detailing where Mr. Crawford is. You push this car out of the road and meet this cowardly French soldier blocking the door. The dialogue that the Americans can say in this conversation is randomized, and yes, there are conversations between players and NPCs in the game now. Yes, it's my favorite voice line that they can say.
I'll knock your teeth in with this door if it doesn't open in the next... You periwinkle!
You hold out against the horde before breaking through the church doors. What does the Frenchman say if you don't kill him? I don't know. Because everybody, usually me, kills him on the spot because he made us put up with 2 minutes of... This is the first map to make respawns actually lore immersive, as players can respawn as British prisoners to be freed. Turns out the British soldiers are here because they want to stop the blight from spreading, and Brittany is only 90 kilometers away from Plymouth, at least according to one of the British soldiers. By the time they say this, they're already at the next stage. The Brits and Americans decide to team up and make their way through the catacombs. I'm not going to say it. Catacombs? No. Catacombs? Like the catacombs to Paris? Anyways, you open up this gate after a short holdout section with tons of bombers, zappers, and igniters. Finally, you meet the new best NPC, you can't change my mind, William H. Crawford.
Ha! A Marine? What are you doing here? Marines of the USS Constitution, sir. We have explicit orders to extract you from France. Oh, I see they got my letter. That's a sight. Shattered authentic China. It's a fake. Here, look at the cross sections. There's little time to speak. We need to move. Sorry about your head. I thought you were one of them. Now stop being a baby and get me out of here. What event occurred here? I think you can see with your own 2 eyes. They got him.
Pretty cool. There's a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff like blowing up gates, Jacob style, teaming up with some French respawns, and finally making it to the dock. You do stuff to undock the ship, fight off your poor comrades, and escape Roscoff. Now that that is out of the way, let's talk about the actual point of this video, the badges. Save the ship and search and rescue are 2 badges that were added in the version 0.14 update. The first one is for beating Roscoff in real life. You know, like how every other objective map has a beat in 1 life badge. Then there is search and rescue, where you have to A. Survive Roscoff, B. Play from the beginning to end of the map, so not exactly 1 life, but don't join halfway through and whatnot, and C. Have Crawford escape alive. I'm gonna admit it, the second badge is harder, at least for me. This is mostly because of the third requirement. Crawford, despite being S+++ tier character, is a very stupid. This was mostly a problem before the version 0.14.4 patch, because Crawford just loves the water. Either that or he's suicidal, doesn't matter. So now that that has been established, time for you all to see the pain that I went through to get these badges. Here we are, Roscoff. Of course, this map isn't easy. At all. I learned quite a bit of things through the 4 days that it took me to get these badges. First of all, and I learned this early on, it's a lot faster if you're playing on a viable custom server that only does Roscoff. These were all over the place when the update came out, and some of the players in them are pretty good. Dang, server ain't bad. Now, of course, 90% of succeeding on this map is getting a good team, which you can solve by joining one of these servers. However, there are a couple things that you can do to even survive to the end. It doesn't matter if you have a server who can beat the map blindfolded, if you're the one who meleeed the bomber near the beginning. Which, hey, that reminds me of my first point. Be careful of bombers. Now, this seems like a no really tip, but I'm being serious. I died a lot of times because of the narrow corridors and thinking that charging ahead was a good idea. Bombers are especially a pain at the finale. That's why you should protect your teammates who are probably all doing the same objective by priority shooting bombers and zappers. Number 2. I don't know what to call this part actually. At the beginning of the map, when you go into this forge, there's this wall that is in between you and the zombie spawn. Now, I'm pretty sure that they haven't patched to this yet, but as of the recording of the footage, you can swing through the wall and kill them zombies. Bombers won't explode if you melee them through the walls, by the way. This little trick is helpful for both keeping your teammates alive and, if you're an officer, this is a really good strategy for building up charge early on. Number 3. Turn down your graphics. Yet again, another tip that is very useful in one segment, but mildly useful for the rest. Now, while you may not want to turn your graphics to this, it's pretty useful in the Catacombs segment. It gets a lot brighter with minimum graphics and, of course, makes your game run a tad bit faster. I guess this is also good for people with a bad gaming setup, though they probably knew about this already. Alright. Those are the only personal tips I can give you. Like I said, 90%, or more like 95% of the time, your success is decided by what team you have. But now that you know how not to screw up, time for the pain to begin. Ouch. You! Crawford, you little... No. At this point, I was getting pretty tired of this map. I was playing on a Roscoff 24/7 server, and sometimes they weren't full of skilled players that were toughened by Roscoff. Sometimes they were people like me who thought the other players were Roscoff veterans. There were some hiccups throughout, but the biggest problem was the finale. If the zombies won't kill you, then your teammates will try to. Now in G&B, there's this term called a baby spot. Why is it called that and what does it mean? It's called that because it's a spot where zombies can't get to you and you're completely safe, which is what babies use to cheat the game. Now, early on, before they patched it, you could go to this part of the USS Constitution's ship. I tried it once and died. You gotta be kidding me. Now, funny story, right after getting the necessary footage for my video on the update in general, I got banned from getting Blackpowder for about 6 days. This was because I used the baby spot in Roscoff, but I only did it once and died for it. This is also part of the reason this video got delayed a good bit. Did I complete my journey before getting banned? Well, we'll see. Overall, just don't use a baby spot. It probably isn't worth it. Alright, back to the pain. After all this time, I was able to put all I've learned together and got lucky with a server. First, I used the zombies in the forge to build charge quickly. We fortified and held out for the 2 minutes of bell ringing and zombie swinging. We committed war crimes on the French and teamed up with the Brits to find the #1 idiot, Crawford. Teaming up with French and oh crap, Crawford died. Well, that's one badge that won't be achieved this round, but there's still a chance we could survive in one life. We got on the ship and undocked it. Brutal fighting occurred, and I took a few hits. As long as I didn't turn into another zombie before the match ended, then the infection didn't matter. After using this little corner to help my teammates with their cloudy with a chance of bombers problem, it was over. Me and 2 others, the designated survivors of Roscoff. Did we do it? Yes! Woo! Time to get the other one. Yay! I'm not gonna go in depth on what happened like last round. It's pretty much the same stuff, but I will say that Crawford did die a lot near the finale, which sucked because the other badge requires him to survive. There you go, Crawford. Then on the matches where he did get on the ship, I would die. But finally, I got it. The fighting was tense, still on my little corner of the back of the ship. I thought I might be the last one left and... Wait, Were there people at the back of the ship? It didn't matter, for my spot wasn't invulnerable to zombies, and my spot was right next to a zombie spawner. I rushed over to the front of the ship, and boy oh boy were my eyes not deceiving me. Basically the entire server was at the front of the ship. We continued to hold out against waves and waves of zombie attacks, shooting bombers and getting the heck out of there when we needed it. But finally, I had done it.
Make us.
Oh my gosh, yes! Finally! Oh my gosh, that took longer than I thought it would. Crawford, you were so stupid, but still the best NPC. Like, just objectively the best one. Okay, I'm done with this game for a bit. Turns out, I really was done with the game for a bit. So there we go. Through all this pain, I can confidently say that Roscoff is the best map in Guts and Blackpowder. Heck, I think the tense and challenging finale is even better than Catacombs' finale. Yeah, I said it. Though I will say 1812 Overture is still the best song in the entire game. But overall, thank you guys so much for watching. Since this will be my last video of 2024, I want to thank you all for this great year. Started off with the videos that were even lucky to break 100 views and I had less than 300 subscribers. But then, through the magic of the pike, I'm never calling it the lance, my channel finally found an audience, you guys, and grew to where it is today. So thank you all so much for this journey, and I can't imagine what will happen next year. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing and liking the video if you want to help out the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy New Year. And goodbye.